We light this chalice tonight during Kwanzaa to honor Black families, culture, and community. Habari gani? What's happening? Ujima. Collective work and responsibility.
Ujima, the principle of collective work and responsibility. It is a principle that calls us as Black people from across the diaspora to build and maintain our community together and to make our community's problems our problems and to solve them together. Within the faith community of my upbringing, we might have articulated the essence of this principle by saying that we are called to bear one another's burdens. You see, this principle is not just a principle that calls us into partnership with each other as Black folks, but it is also one of solidarity. It reminds us as Black people that we are never alone, that we are connected to one another across time, space, spiritualities, and the undeniable work of our collective liberation. This reminder may provide for some of us solace as we find ourselves in situations and circumstances where isolation seems inescapable, sometimes even smothering. It is also an invitation for us to look back and to remember that there are those of us within the community that need a little extra help. This means that we who have been kissed by the sun need not forget our own siblings and kin as we work to bring about a better world for ourselves. The creation of a more just and equitable world cannot be seen as an individual journey, but instead a collective and communal commitment to the liberation of us all. We must continue in that vein to proclaim that Black lives matter and to be explicitly clear that when we say so, we mean that all Black lives matter. In doing so, we exercise our communities and ourselves of the forces of evil like white supremacy and anti-Black racism. Forces whose aim is to oppress and silence all who will not bow to their will. Ujima emerges to remind us that there are forces and systems at work in society that would want nothing more than for us to remain splintered and focused on our own freedom. But true freedom is experienced when it is the reality for the whole. Nelson Mandela once said, "To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others." This is the living out of Ujima. Since the audience for this reflection encompasses the members and friends of the Church of the Larger Fellowship, I feel it important to call our attention to the way that the principle of Ujima mirrors one of the principles which ground our faith. The sixth principle, the goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. The Reverend Sean Parker Dennison, writing about this principle, says, "The sixth principle seems extravagant in its hopefulness and improbable in its prospects." They go on to ask, can we continue to say we want world community, peace, liberty, and justice for all? The world is full of genocide, abuse, terror, and war. Concluding with the question, what have we gotten ourselves into? And though the celebration of Kwanzaa and the principle of Ujima unapologetically centers the experiences of Black folks, the insidiousness of genocide and abuse, terror, and war being experienced by so many across the world, let us know that the work of ridding our world of their presence demands a collective response, the work of community. Spiritual teacher and now ancestor Sabanfu Some wrote, "Community is the spirit, the guiding light of the tribe, whereby people come together in order to fulfill a specific purpose, to help others fulfill their purpose, and to take care of one another." The work of Ujima is heeding the spirit of love and compassion calling out to us to take up the charge of our kin's burden becoming ours, and not declaring freedom from those burdens until it is true for us all. It's in light of this that I'm left to ask the question, how might you be being called to care for one another? To my white friends, will you commit yourselves to working collectively to dismantle white supremacy? The truth is, it has and continues to rob so many of us, those of us who look like me, of the chances to fulfill our own purposes. Calling oneself an ally is not enough. We need co-conspirators in the work of justice and liberation. I'm reminded of an affirmation that emerged out of the civil rights era. It was an affirmation that proclaimed, "No one is free until we are all free." May we not grow weary or give up on our pursuit of a just world for all until it is so. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. Happy Kwanzaa.